Okay, so I wanted to know the probability of tossing a 3 and then another 3. Well, if you look, I tried to trick you because there's 2 out of 6. Simplifies to 1/3, 1/3, 1/9. Blue, then green, then red. So if you look up here, there's 4 blue, 1 red, and 1 green. So 4 out of 6, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6, 2/3, 1 out of 36. Okay, the probability of 2 face cards. So a face card and then another face card. It says it's put back, so the amount of cards doesn't change. How many face cards? Well, they said there's 12. Divide by 4, divide by 4. Okay, all right. A 5, there's one of them, and the sum is greater than 8, which means a 4, a 5, and a 6. That's 3 out of 6. 1/2, 1/12. Odd number, 1, 3, 5. The sum is 4. Well, the only way to get 4 from a 1 is a 3. The only way from a 3 is a 1, so that's 2 out of 6. So it's 1/6. And by the way, this is dependent because this one's dependent on that one. This is dependent because this one's dependent on that one. Okay? 2 clubs. We got a club and another club. But it's replaced independent. So I'm still going to have 52 cards. So there are 13 clubs in a deck. So 1/4, 1/4, 1/16. The game is still 2 clubs, but this time it's not replaced, so it's dependent. And when there were 52 cards, there will now be 51. And where there were 13 clubs, there are now 12. 13 over 52 is 1/4. 12 over 4 is 3. 3 over 51. A king is drawn. Well, there's 4 to 52. Not replaced, dependent. And then a queen is drawn. Well, there's 4 queens still in the deck, but only 51 cards. 1 over 13. 4 over whatever 13 times 51 is. Okay? Let's turn the page. All right, so we've got Carter or Russo. Carter 35, Russo 50, so 85%. Okay? The letters A through M are written on cards. Find the probability of choosing an E or, okay, well, there's one E out of, let's see, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. So that's 13, which is 2 13s. Okay. Probability of rolling a 3 or an odd number. That's 1/6. That's 3 out of 6, but there's a repeat because the 3 was right there. So it's really just 3/6, which is 1/2. Okay. Probability of rolling an even number, 2, 4, 6, or less than 2. Well, the only number less than 2 is 1. There's actually no overlap. So 4 out of 6 is 2/3. Okay. Drawing a jack or a club. There are 4 jacks out of 52. There are 13 clubs out of 52, but one of the jacks is actually a club. So 4 plus 13 is 17, minus 1 is 16 over 52. Divide by 4, 4 13s. Okay. Black card or face card. Half the deck is black. Face cards, well, there's 12 face cards. But the problem is half the face cards are black. Okay. So 26 plus 12 is 38. Minus 6 is 28 over 52. Divide by 4, 7 13s. Okay, for these next ones, I'm just going to show the work and explain the work. Okay? So I'm going to start here. I know it's a lot. Try to block everything else and just focus in on that. All right, so I needed to find So ignore this stuff too. Let's see, we get the mode right there. So I needed to find the mean, the median, and the mode. To find the mean, I added them all up, 28 divided by 8, which gave me 3.5. Make sure you do the x with the line on top. The mode is the one that happens the most. It's the most zeros. The median is the one that happens in the middle. It was in between 1 and 3, which is 2. Okay, mean, median, and mode. Switch over. Same game over here. The only difference is it's just different numbers. And there is no mode because all the numbers only happen once. And then when I look in the middle of 11 and 12, it tells me the median is 11.5. Okay? Now let's get into standard deviation and variance. So let me move this up for that. So the first thing I had to do was find the mean. Then if you look, let's see if I can get the highlighter. I took that mean and I subtracted from each of the numbers and then squared it. Once I squared it, I added all these numbers to get me 42. There were 5 numbers, so the variance is 8.4. Then I square rooted 8.4 and I got 290 rounded to the nearest hundredth. Same thing here, but the only difference is this one's a little bit more difficult because the mean was a decimal. So since the mean was a decimal, it was just more annoying, so I had to use my calculator. I added them all up. I got 16.8, 5 numbers. That's my variance, 336. And then I square rooted, and I got 183.